Hi, we're the Brights coming to you live from our studio kitchen
in Big H Town, Houston, Texas.
Yes. So we just want to say a big shout out from last week, right?
To all of our fans in Area 51,
Area
man.
51, yes.
Way to hang with us.
Last week
that was awesome.
Amazing. They got on and we didn't know what was happening. So if some of y'all saw some of our posts later when we were talking about the aliens, and we had couches, and we didn't know what it was all about, but we just went and had fun with it, and they were really a lot of fun. So we just all kind of connected, and it just turned out to be kind of a cool friendship.
That's right.
That was neat. So if some of y'all are asking today, what was that whole thing about the aliens and the Men in Black? So it was the Brights in Black.
That's right. And we still have a couch.
Yes, and we didn't know to show the couch, but we have 2 couches, so maybe at some point we'll take a picture and show them our couch. So it's
not really about the couch here.
It's not. No, it's not about the couch.
Not about the couch.
But it's about storming the aliens. But they stormed the videos, and we passed the test. They said that they really were thankful that we didn't freak out. And I was really happy because we did a video about defensiveness, and that would have been really funny had we gotten defensive on a how to not be defensive video, because that would have probably gone viral.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we'd have lost all credibility. So that was really great. Hey, Mike. Who else is on there? Oh, you know who's on there? Our friend. She's in Alabama. Yael's in Alabama now. I can remember what city
we were just talking about you last week, Yael.
Yes, we were. So we're really happy to see you. And so thank y'all for joining in tonight. Tonight, hopefully, we can talk about couches or something weird. We'll be able to.
And if we do, we'll just roll with it. Come on, somebody.
Yes. So we've been talking a little bit the last few weeks about different things in marriage and communication. And one of the things that when we're talking to couples, sometimes we talk about the different tools and tips, things that you can learn about how to have good communication. But if you don't have these core values, then all those tips and everything really don't matter, because people know that you're not being for real.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we, in marriage, that we have these 3 personal qualities. And the first one is warmth. So we want to be able to, because when we first get together and we come with all these things that we have, things that
bad breath, blemishes,
yes, and
quirks.
Some we see, like sometimes things that are to be discovered, like picking your toenails.
She freaks out when I do that. I'm
like, I don't like when you touch
you're not going to do it, so I have to do it.
I can't
she
stand
goes,
it. Like, it starts like putting your fingernails on a chalkboard. I can't stand it. It like freaks me out.
Oh my god!
So there were things like that. I didn't know that he picked his toenails till afterwards. So there's things when we first get together that we just see in the other person that we accept.
I'm cutting them with my
finger. But he's cutting with his fingers or something. I don't know, but it makes this really disgusting sound, and I just want to throw up in my own mouth. But you know what? We love each other. We have warmth, and these are the things that we might not see when we first get together. Some things we see and we accept, but there are things to be discovered. Like he didn't know what a clean freak that I am, and what a germaphobe that I am.
Oh my gosh! I was cleaning today, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm turning into my wife, as I couldn't believe. I like things clean and organized and orderly now, and I used to not, but I mean, that's the part, that's how God is just so good, because he takes 2 different people with our own dictionaries of how we see things, and then blends us together, and the 2 shall become one. And I just think marriage is getting such a bad rap in the world. We say Christianese things like in the world and of the flesh, and things like that. So if we do that, and we don't mean to, it's just that's how we are.
It's our Christianese.
It's our Christianese, right?
So we're trying not to be all weird like that.
Yeah.
But we don't know that it's weird, because we just talk like that's just things that we talk about that are natural. But we realize that sometimes other people might look at that and be like, I don't know
what are they talking about? So we want to make sure that we explain things as we go on.
So the warmth part of it is being able to just accept the other person like they are. And like I said, when you're first getting together, you don't see all those things, or if you see them, you just you blow it off, and you're like, oh, I just accept them. And then you get married, and then you want to change them.
Right. Oh,
I have to say,
she's probably
I want
not
to change
always
him.
going to want to eat healthy. She's just doing that right now to impress me. Eventually, she's going to love to mac down on some fried chicken and French fries.
Sometimes, but I wanted to change Richard way more than Richard tried to change me. I have to give that to him, because he's just more of a accepting personality, person. He just has that he already had that warmth part of me, and me, I was like, project.
Yeah.
Like, what can I fix on him? Because I just thought there was, like, if I could just fix him, then everything's great because I was already fine.
You were already fixed?
I thought I was already perfect.
Yeah.
But what I realized in trying to fix him, that I really needed to fix some stuff in me, the fact that I even wanted to fix him. So, so one of the keys is we want to grow to be better, that we don't want to just accept the other person and just be like, okay, well, no matter what you do, you've got carte blanche, you can do whatever you want, I'll do whatever I want. I mean, we do want to grow as human beings, we want to grow as people, we want to become better. I mean, we should be with somebody that wants us to be better, like that wants to help us, and not somebody that wants to point out all the things that we need to do to be better, but that we just want to be better because of the people that we're with. Like, I feel like Richard makes me want to rise to a higher level. I feel like now he wants me, and it's not me trying to change him. He just on his own wants to personally grow and to be better.
I mean, think about it. How many times has somebody really come and pointed out our issues and our problems, and we thanked them and said, you know what? Thank you so much for pointing those out to me. I'm not going to do that anymore. It just never works out like that. It just seems like it always antagonizes a fight somehow, or a disconnect between us, you know? And it's when she came to me with the warmth and the kind. We'll get to that later. The genuineness.
Well, I was going to say the
empathy.
warmth part of it, like with Richard, is that he was so much more relaxed about things and had freedom. Like, he had peace about. Like, he was. It's like, you be you. You know, he was fine with it. He wasn't trying to change everything about me. And I thought, well, he's not trying to change it because there's nothing that needs to be changed. That's what I thought. But he's just way more warm and accepting. And so that was good and bad. It was good because he wanted to do that. But at the same time, I thought, well, I guess there's nothing wrong since he's not trying to point it out. And we've got to work on Richard. But he just had a different heart. And he's always had that warmth. That doesn't mean he's always kind in the way he said things, which we're going to talk about, but he had that warmth of letting me be who I was.
I've got that deep voice, so there's times that she has said, be kind, you know, why did you have to say it like that? And to me, like, if I'm just talking to you right now and I'm saying, hey, you know, thank you for watching our video, you're like, man, he said it so abruptly and so harsh. And sometimes that's just the way I talk, but when she says that, there's times that I know that I'm like, she's right. You know, she hit the nail on the head. And then there's times that
that's not what
subconsciously, that's not what I meant, and I really wasn't talking like that, but she took it that way, you know? And it's good to be able to clarify that and be able to talk about it.
Without have warmth, you invite God's grace into your marriage. And when you have that grace that God has with us, then you can start having more grace with each other. One of the things that I have always had a problem with is wanting everything to be perfect. And so when I met Richard, he's barely even seen me ever take a nap. That's just weird, I know. But everything had to be, I had to be moving all the time. I had to be doing something. I had to be proving that I was, worthy, I guess. I don't even know what all that was about. I just watched my mom do it. Like, she just never stopped. She was always doing things. And so
she would tell me that all the time, too. Well, Mom was always going, and I'm like, I feel sorry for you, because you don't have to do that to impress me. You know, I wish you would take a nap every
and
now and
I
then,
thought if I relaxed or whatever, he was going to think I wasn't working hard enough or doing that. And it's nothing that he put on me. It was what I had already put on myself. And so now that we're empty nesters, a couple of maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, I just said I'm going to do it one day because I'm going to see what he does. And so I said, today I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going to lay in bed all day, and I'm going to but me, I can't just lay in bed and relax. So I had all my work. I brought my iPad, my laptop. I had all my papers, everything laying around me. And I spent the whole day in my jammies, didn't put makeup on, didn't do anything other than brush my teeth, get some coffee, got back in the bed. And all day I would just laid in bed. I got my bed because we have those push-up beds where you can put the little deal. And I just worked all day long. And to me that was relaxing because I was chilled out. I'm like,
in her jammies.
Yeah. And so he came home a couple times during the day and he was like, I'm so happy to see you like that. That's so great. And I thought, yeah, he says that now. And so then I said, well, I'm gonna start doing it once a week. And he was like, I hope that you do. And so the other night he said, I'm really, really proud of you. Like, it makes me so happy to see you do that. And I said, why? And he said, it just makes me, because I think you're not going to, first he said, because you're not going to die of stress. That's what he told me. He said, but I'm so glad that you're taking that time for yourself. I mean, it just made me feel so endeared to him because of that warmth that he had. It just gave me permission to just be like, you know what? I can just be. And I just thank you for that. I do. I'm trying to be better.
I don't want you to burn yourself
right,
out.
But it's just saying. So he has that warmth part of it. He didn't always try to change me, and I didn't have to always be perfect. But I thought I did. And so the number 2 is genuineness. And so if we're not genuine with our spouse,
they've got a genuine
We've got a radar.
Oh yeah.
No, well, not just women. I think
No,
everybody does.
everybody does. I'm sorry I did that.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you're not.
That's not what I meant.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
And we know. And so we have a thing with our dog. We should bring Chica in. We have a little dog named Chica, and she's a Chihuahua. And we have the Chihuahua meter. We have the Chica meter.
The Chica meter.
And we can tell, because like in the mornings our dog's in the bed with us, or in the evenings she sleeps with us. And if we're talking about something, excuse me, if we're talking about something and our voices would get raised, or something would happen, or we had words, or we said something sarcastically, and the other person pointed it out, because we have that radar, and then the other person would say, I didn't mean it that way. We could always say, I don't know, let's see what the expert says. And if Chica stayed in the bed and cuddled with us, then we knew that our hearts were genuine.
That's right.
If she started climbing off to get off the bed, and the next thing you know, she's gone, man. She's gone.
She's
like,
trying to eat through a door to get out of the room.
She's like, something's going on
She's
with him.
Must save self, self-preservation. Get out, get out.
That's how we learn to be able to have a radar. Even now, like if we're in the room, we can tell. If she's like, yip, 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 yip,
That tail
like,
ducks between her legs, and she's like, those ears go down, and she's like, I'm out.
So she knows whether or not we're really being genuine, and
If
whether
she had
our
a thumb,
intentions-
she'd be throwing deuce.
She'd be like, "Yeah, out." So what we say is, so go back to genuine. So what we say is way less important than what we portray. So our genuineness. So we can be saying the words, but if we're looking all around, or we're walking around, or we're cleaning, or we're doing different things, or we're rolling our eyes, or we're just looking at our watch, or all those type of things, that's not that genuineness that you're really listening to what your spouse is talking about. They say that, I even wrote it down, so they say 58% of your message, nonverbal is 58% that takes into account of your message, of how you're getting your message across to your spouse.
Just your body
Genuine.
language.
Yeah.
Not even the voice,
No.
not even what they're saying, just the way the nonverbal. 58% is what we catch. And to me, that was just interesting.
So when you're talking to your spouse and everything, like, no, I'm not. And they're like, oh. And they're like,
Yeah, baby, no.
Yeah,
What you have to
fine, I'm
say is
listening.
totally
What are you
important.
saying?
I'm listening. Yeah, keep talking.
So 58% of our nonverbal is what they're hearing or seeing. And also 35% of our tone is what they're also
What
taking
did your
account.
mom used to tell you?
Okay,
about
y'all. So
Bob?
my mom's name was Inez, and my dad called her Nez, and my dad was Bob. And all when I was growing up, which I didn't understand until I got married, and my mom would say, Bob, it's not what you say, but how you say it. Like, And I could tell he's like grouchy, or how he would say it, or gruff, or whatever. But it's such a big part of our communication. Only 7% of our words matter when we're talking to anyone. But like, this is about our spouse. So when I'm talking to Richard, I can be talking, and I have this whole great thing I'm going to say. But if all my nonverbal cues are telling him something else, if my tone is a certain way, if I'm sarcastic or loud or whatever, sound mean, we hear it, y'all. We have that radar that picks up and goes, no, I call bull junk. We learned that word this week, a couple of weeks ago. I like that, bull junk. That's a Christian.
That's a Christian
word.
bull jump.
That's a
Okay.
Christian word.
I have to look that up, make sure.
So all the communication, see, they're loving it. All the communication things that we learn in marriage and learn on these, we can go to retreats and conferences and classes. You can read books. All those things you can learn don't really matter if you don't have these genuine personal qualities, because then all that stuff doesn't matter. It's just, fake.
That's right.
Yeah. So then the third
That's
one
solid, wrong.
is empathy. And there's different than
This
sympathy.
is a biggie.
Yeah, and I didn't understand the difference between empathy and sympathy for a long time. And so empathy is with our heart and our head, and sympathy is more where we're like, oh baby, we just feel sorry for people. But empathy is when you're really putting yourself in that person's shoes, and how they putting yourself in their perspective.
And what they're feeling, and truly trying to put yourself in their shoes and see it from their perspective and their point of view. Pastor Jimmy Evans says all the time, sometimes we have to come out of our world and go into our spouse's world. And sometimes they have to come out of their world and come into our world. And this is something that we have to do all the time. It's just not every now and then. I mean, we have to, we were teaching in the pre-marriage class today that that we have to be intentional in our marriage, because the natural tendency of marriage is to grow apart. That's the natural tendency. If we just get married expecting to be in love for the rest of our life, then we start to grow apart. Then we the enemy starts playing with our mind, thinking, oh, we married the wrong one. She's not right, or this, if we were really soulmates, we would be in love right now. And that's not the truth of it. The truth of it is that, man, we've got to put God in the center of our marriage, so that, man, that we're listening to Him, and through that, healing is happening from all the childhood issues, the dysfunction, the hurt, the pain that we've gotten in life. Man, God can heal, but we have to give Him the chance to do it. And we can't keep doing the same things over and over and over, expecting for something different to happen. So we have to, and say, man, why do we keep going around the mountain? Like Joyce Meyer says, we keep going around and around and around until we deal with it,
Keep doing the same thing. We talk about this all the time. Doing the same thing and expecting a different result. We've got to do something different. And so to avoid stepping on your spouse's toes is to be able to put yourself in their position, to put yourself in there, to see things from how they see it, and not just assume. I mean, there's no way that I can assume what Richard thinks about something or how he feels about something, because we come in with I came in with all these years, I'm not even going to say how many, all these years of my life that I've done, things have been done a certain way, different relationships, how I was raised. I had different parents than he had. I had different relationships and husbands and all these different things in my life that make up, and what my parents told me, the different religious experience, all kinds of things. And then he has his own set. And so I'm coming at him thinking, well, this is how you should feel about it, or this is what you should think, or well, how that is stupid. But that's not fair, because he feels about it a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Well, I'm glad you agree.
Well, yeah, because we each have, we always say that you have a dictionary of everything this is the Sherry dictionary of her life, and I've got the Richard dictionary of my life, and we have to rewrite those dictionaries so that it is compatible for both of us. And I'm not always going to agree 100% with you. She's not always going to agree 100% with me. But we have to be able to be open and honest 100% of the time with each other. That's the only way that we're going to truly be able to go to where God wants us to go in our marriage. And the way He created it is to be open and honest, so that when I can talk about my past hurts and not be afraid that she's going to retaliate against me or use that against me. Or when I do something, oh, that's one of your past hurts that you just can't overcome. And then I'm like, oh, I'm never sharing that again, So.
And sometimes men don't want to do that because they're not used to being vulnerable. A lot of times men aren't, they don't have that vocabulary of emotion, of how to say it. We talked about it today in our class, that men, it's okay for them to be angry, but that's really the only emotion that as growing up that was okay, that they were allowed to do that. But you can't cry, you can't do this, you're a man. So it was to be that vulnerable, sometimes scary for them to be able to do it, because they don't know how we're going to use it against them, and vice versa. I think.
Right. I mean, like for me, when we were first together, to cry in front of Sherry was a total sign of weakness. The way I was raised. I mean, you just do not cry. You don't share your emotions. You don't talk about it. You just trug on through. You just toe the line. We're going to be in this till death do us part.
Yeah.
And
one of us leaves in a body bag.
And that's not the way marriage is supposed to be. I mean, marriage is supposed to give us life, and it's supposed to fulfill the aspirations and the dreams that we want and that God gives us. He gives us these desires, and we want to share it with somebody. Yes. But if we feel like we can't share with our spouse, then who do we turn to? Who can we talk to about it? And we start to carry this hurt and this resentment, because that's not the way God created us. He didn't create us to suffer all the time,
And I think if we can put ourselves in the position of our spouse when we're in a situation where we don't understand and we're not on the same thing, and we're like, you just don't get it, or I don't understand why you feel that way, that doesn't make any sense, is like to see it from there. What does this situation, event, issue, or whatever look like from their perspective? If I put myself in their shoes, what does that look like? I mean, when Richard started talking, when we really started getting deep and intimate about our childhood stuff, and we talk about this all the time on these videos, but these are really the healing things that have helped us, that are still continuing to help us to become stronger and better, and to be better as a married couple. But when I hear him talk about the things that bothered me as a child, or the things that were hurtful, and I hear him say it with such compassion in his heart and empathy, and he's like, I would never want to used to say, your tears mean nothing to me, and now he's like, I can't imagine ever even saying that to her. And to me, that's just, I feel it gives me permission to even want to share more because I know I can trust him with my heart, you know.
That's good, baby.
Yeah, that's good. And then the other question you can ask too is, how is his perspective, or how is he seeing things different than mine? You know, because how is it different?
Man, I can promise you, if you're married, you're going to have a different perspective than your husband or your wife. We just do. God put two individuals together, and we just don't always see eye to eye. But one thing I've learned is that I don't always have to be right, and she doesn't always have to be right. But once again, we still have to be 100% honest with each other. And my job is not to put her down and point out all of her defects and everything that's wrong with her and all of her shortcomings to make her a better Christian and to make her a better wife. That's not my job. My job is to guard that sacred place and to protect her heart, so that I realized that I was the one that was causing so much of the stuff that she was suffering from childhood and past relationships. I was intensifying it, not even realizing that I was doing that. But I didn't know that until we started to open up and trust one another with our emotions and our feelings, which it's a process, you know.
And one of the things we talk a lot about that we learned from Jimmy Evans is that we subconsciously pick a spouse who's going to help us go back through our past and heal those past hurts. And so when that person doesn't do that, and they're not doing it, we don't even realize we're doing it consciously, but when that's not happening, man, we can turn on that spouse because we're like, we're hurting, I'm going through this stuff, and you're not even empathy, you know, at that point we're like, you're not even sympathizing with me, but you're not even here in my heart, you don't even understand me, and then it just starts to isolate you and divide you apart. But when Richard really started to listen to my heart and not be like, your tears mean nothing. I mean, when he really started going, wow, that must have really hurt, or that must have, I can see how that would have, whatever, and we were able to just really start talking about
baby,
it.
I'm so sorry you had to go through that, you know, and if I ever do anything or say anything that triggers that, let me know. I said, because I don't want to do that, and I don't mean to do it intentionally. But you know what? It takes time. My mom used to say, hurting people hurt people. So when we were first into this marriage, and I was recently divorced, she was recently divorced, so there's a lot of hurt and unresolved issues. There's a lot of stingers that are coming out.
Yeah.
I've got both of my guns fully loaded. She's got her stuff fully loaded, and we're just ready to each other just as quick as we can, because we've been hurt, and I'm not going to be hurt again. So that's not how God designed it.
Hey, Margaret. A lot of times we don't get to talk. Last week it was going so fast. There was 1,500 comments, so it was going so fast that I couldn't even keep up with what they were saying. But we had a great time with Margaret and James at dinner the other night. Margaret's about to leave to go to Saudi Arabia, but we're so proud of her.
Yes, we are.
So we're glad that you guys are on. So we just hope this is helping you guys. These are just 3 personal qualities that if you don't already possess, that you need to really work on, because you can have all, like I said, all the good tools. You can go to all the conferences and know all the stuff and be like, I could teach that marriage class. You can know you can have the book knowledge, the book smarts to do it, but if you don't have the heart knowledge and you don't have those things, you need to have that warmth, the empathy, and the genuineness. If you don't possess those 3 things, then all that other stuff doesn't matter. And a spouse can know. We have a radar. Like, we can pick out when we know if that stuff is genuine or not, and that's truly your heart. And I know the difference of when we used to pretend and talk about the stuff and how it really is now. It's just a whole heart difference.
That's 16 years of marriage. And I know there's people out there that have been married 30, 40 years. I know there's people out there that have been married 1 or 2 years. I know there's people out there that have been married, got divorced, and then remarried each other again. So there's all different types. Everybody is not just a cookie cutter. This works for me, it's going to work for you. But it doesn't do that. But what we're saying is the warmth and the genuineness and the empathy, when you allow that to be on the forefront of all of your talking and your divulging information and sharing, when I'm listening to my wife's heart and she's got my soul divided attention, and I'm not trying to, okay, well, baby, I gotta go. And what she's saying matters, and I'm listening, then that's when she keys in on that and starts to share more.
But we also know that there are times when we gotta go and things are it's not a good time. So we're trying to be really intentional about that, so the other person doesn't get hurt. Is that I try to really look and see, he's about to leave to go to work. This is probably not the time to bring up XYZ. Like there are certain times that we are going to talk about things, and certain times they're going to be better, and then we're going to get the result that we want. And sometimes we just want to do it. Like you're not leaving this house till when we used to be like that a lot. Like we're gonna have this out before you leave for work. Well, then what? Nobody ever got. He'd storm off, and our whole day would be ruined. So we've got, I think, more in tune to each other about when's a good time. And sometimes we just have to say, hey, I want to talk. I don't want to. We just need to shelf this, but maybe later let's talk about it at X.
I want you to pray about this because I want to talk to you about it later.
Yeah.
So pray about this,
and not like, oh, we need to talk. I mean, that freaks everybody out.
Well, I've had plenty of those too. There was plenty of those. Yes. We need to talk. And I'm like,
that's never good.
We are still in church.
That's never good. And people ask us sometimes, well, how do you get to that point? Because he's made me so mad, or he's done this X for so long. Is that I believe the only way that you can have this, really have genuineness with your spouse, have the empathy and have the warmth, is to have Jesus in your heart. I mean, that's just the only thing. I tried doing it on my own. I tried white knuckling it. You can do it a little bit by yourself, but when you just have that love, when you know how God loves you and accepts you unconditionally, and you've got that, and you know that in your knower, as my sister says, down deep, then it's way easier to love people and forgive them, and to see the best in them, and to accept their qualities that you don't like. It's just different.
And and if we're in a marriage and we're like, well, I'm not going to do it until they do it, they're going to have to do it first because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
And then what happens is then the other person starts doing it, and then I'm not going to do it now.
I'm not going to do it.
And you just go back and forth. I did that in my prior marriage. She did it in her prior marriages. Guys, we have to put pride down. Pride is the number one killer of marriage. It will snuff, kill, and destroy your marriage. It just will. That's what pride does. And the center of pride is I. I feel, I want, I need. It's what do you need? How can instead of going at it in an angry tone, say, hey, how can we sit down and talk and be able to listen to one another? Sometimes you have to have a mediator so that you're able to get some stuff out, because y'all are in such a disconnect that everything starts in an argument and ends in an argument.
And there's nothing wrong with getting a counselor, y'all. There's nothing wrong with talking to somebody that can help you. Get a marriage coach. We go play golf. People play golf.
We have marriage coaches.
Yeah, people play golf, and they go and get what do they call it?
A golf pro.
A golf pro.
They get lessons,
and they learn.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. So we thank y'all for coming on, listening. We love doing these videos, and so this one is about genuineness, empathy, and warmth. Even though I didn't do it in the right order, please share our videos. If you know someone that could benefit from it. I think we all always need to refresh. It refreshes us every time we do the new topic. It reminds us, wow, maybe in that area we're doing really well, or that we need to work on. So it's good for us. It's good for y'all. We pray for y'all all the time.
Yes, we do. And I saw that Jennifer had signed on, and I just wanted to say,
Jennifer.
No, it's Jennifer Osteen.
Jennifer Osteen.
Oh, it's a Jennifer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. But Jennifer Osteen, the other Jennifer Osteen, Dr. Paul married us, and
that's why
he prayed a prayer over us that we would have such a great passion for each other.
No, he said it was going to be like we had a love potion that we were going to have. So we thank him for that, because that's worked. So
thank you for tuning in.
And if it's right now, it's July of 2019. I know these videos might not see until later, but if you're interested in a great marriage conference, we're at Lakewood Church next month. If you go to lakewood.cc, you can sign up for the Spark Conference. We have amazing speakers that are coming, world-renowned therapists. I was going to say it's marriage experts, but we also have Michael Jr., who's going to do the comedy on Friday night. And then there's this couple called the Brights that they're going to do comedy on Saturday morning. I don't know. I heard they're
really funny.
Yeah, I heard they're funny.
I heard they make really good marriage videos, too.
And so we hope you guys will tune in for that or come to it. I don't even know if they're going to live stream it, but you can come to it in person. And our website is therealbrights.com. So we would love to come to your church or your date night and do either a comedy night, do a marriage workshop, whatever. I'm tired, y'all. Can't get my words out. So we love you guys. We
pray for you every day.
Yes, and just please tell us what topics that you guys want to talk about, because sometimes we're not sure which way to go with it. So we just would love to hear from you guys.
Michelle, the conference is at Lakewood Church,
Houston,
August
Texas.
the 23rd and 24th.
So if you go to the lakewood.cc website, you can see all about it. And it's really inexpensive too, so you can go, right?
We'll see y'all there.
Yeah, share videos.
Hey, we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you for tuning in. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Peace.